Well, welcome back to another video where Jen and I are. My name is Elke, and Jen is over there on the other side of the screen there. And the two of us are Zazzle designers that also mentor and teach and coach people how to expand their Zazzle business to make a lot of money. And this is why today we really want to talk to you about branding and why it's so important. And you kind of get it in the title because branding helps you sell and customers trust and love you, and then they'll buy from you even more. So many people forget that. So today we're going to dive into that and give you some tips and pointers, but also understand more the behind the scenes as to why this works, and maybe your frustration and your desires with this, because maybe you actually know that this is what you have to do, but on the other hand, you have no idea how to get it done. So keep watching all the way to the end, okay? All right, so let's get started with, like, everyone goes like, oh, brand isn't just a logo and a font and a color. I agree. But brand is an identity, right? It's an identity of you with whatever you have in your Zazzle store as a designer that gives me as a customer an idea of what you offer, right? So that goes as deep as the style of your designing on your product. It goes as deep as your picture on your profile. It goes as deep as what you have on your banner. It goes as deep as, yes, your logo and your brand, colors, etc. Because as human beings and as customers, the one and only reason people buy is because they trust. And all of these branding aspects allow your customer, without you talking to them or seeing, like, they interacting with you, to trust you. And like, the easiest way to sell something is to deliver on a very intentional product that just sells itself. But if there's any concern or issues with doubt that they're gonna, what's called, close the cart, or sorry, not close the cart, like, go to cart and buy, which means that you make a sale, it's going to depend on how they feel about you as a brand with your store, with how you present your products. Does it feel like, when they're going to buy this, they're going to get customer service, they're going to get good quality print, and etc. All of those things are part of the trusting process. The other thing, though, is once you give someone a really great customer experience, they trust you implicitly, and you can make terrible designs and they'll still sell from you. Like, what have you bought as a brand name that's absolute garbage quality, like Kate Spade or whatever knockoffs, and you still go like, what is a Kate Spade bag? And I'm going to buy it, all right? So that psychology is what you're working with as a Zazzle designer, and don't like push that aside. This is like key selling psychology, and you have to understand that in order to be successful on the Zazzle marketplace. And so, yeah, I want to just get in there. But it's also maybe your desire, right? You may not want to just be anonymous, sorry, and have anonymity for selling. Like, just doesn't matter, like your faceless brand, like faceless Instagram brands. But those are all missing out because personal connection creates more trust than non-personal connection, right?
Mhm.
And if you, like Jen and I, want to run your business and have it running like 15, 20 years, which is, we're coming up to that for our Zazzle businesses, people seek us out because of our brands, because the name, the quality, the trust, the designs, customer service, like, even though we don't have a lot of connection with Zazzle customers, if they message us in the chat, we're right on there. We like say yes, and like, sure, sometimes I miss out a couple of times, so that the customers ask a question, they think that I'm on there all the time, but we do our best to make sure that our customers are super, super happy. And this is all part of building that trust and personal brand. And the reason that you might desire that is because then selling becomes easy. Right? People sell themselves, and then people recommend you, and it snowballs, and then that's when we're happy campers. And when we realize that as Zazzle designers, when we stop like pushing and pushing and pushing and trying, and all of a sudden people started buying because they recognized our brand, and then they were willing to buy just from us. They wouldn't even look at other people's stuff. It just snowballed. So it's definitely something. Plus, I want to do one more thing. Grumpy Cat. Just as an example of a brand, started on Zazzle, sold their brand for millions of dollars just because they put a picture up of their grumpy cat or the one that looked like a grumpy cat and added memes. So it can be quite lucrative besides just selling Zazzle products. So yeah, what do you think about all that?
Yeah, well, it depends on where you want to take your journey on Zazzle. If you are someone who is watching this video, maybe you are somebody who's just starting out and you don't have a brand and you don't even really know what you want to call yourself or what products to put in. If you are an artist, if you're not an artist, and you're like, whoa, that brand name, that's scary because you don't have the confidence in yourself yet to even say that you are a brand. Want to just say that it can be evolving, right? Everyone who puts themselves out there creates a name, puts a logo up. Canva is so easy to use right now. You can literally, not that you're going to become Louis Vuitton tomorrow, but you can literally create a brand name like Louis Vuitton and create that for your store. You can also then take your own personal name. So for example, if you don't want to have a generic name, you can say something like Jennifer Clarke Designs or Art by Jennifer. And so you can really make those two come to fruition, whether one side or the other, whether you're a faceless brand or your own brand name and you put your face to it. And Zazzle allows you to feel comfortable and confident about that, right? Because there's so many capabilities and opportunities for you to push yourself to those boundaries of saying, yes, this is my brand. It sounds scary at the beginning, but your ultimate desire to create an online business will allow you to have that that responsibility of creating the brand, whether that be scary or not to you right now, but it's very freeing. And it's also very neat to come to your friends and family members, 5 years from now and say, I created this brand and it's a multi-million-dollar company on Zazzle, right? That doesn't come out of my mouth very often, but it's very true. I have my own company that is $1 million company, and never in a million years when I first started out on Zazzle in 2008 thought that I would be able to say that. And so if that inspires you, then just take it forward and know that the world is your oyster. The sky is the limit, whatever saying you want to associate with that. And just know that there is a possibility for you to create your own brand and have it flourish, because that's the ultimate dream goal. However,
And it always evolves, right? Like how many
yes,
times did you change your design and banner,
yes, yes,
logo, and
going back to this point, yeah, no.
name? Yeah,
I
yeah.
spent so much time refining my brand, figuring out what I was as a person, as a designer, and that brings me back to one of the videos that we probably recorded at one point or another, where we talk about brand and confidence. And I always make a joke with my clients in the Profit by Design Academy coaching program, where they're like, "Well, I can't figure out my logo," and I was like, "Girl, I changed my logo 20 times within an hour, just playing around, figuring out what I wanted it to look like and what I felt comfortable and confident with." So you can definitely always evolve, and what's determined today doesn't mean that you can't evolve to something tomorrow, a week from now. It's just the starting point that's the most important, for sure.
Yeah.
And bringing it to some frustrations that you might have, because every dream and desire comes with frustrations and fears. We like to touch on those to make you feel like you're not alone, because there are scary things that come with, starting your own online business, but they're okay because they're overcomable. They are just obstacles. They're not problems or situations that's going to make you do a full stop. But there is also probably a frustration that you personally might have, just like we were talking about my own little story right there about my brand and my logo changing 20 times within an hour, is difficulty staying consistent with your brand. And definitely your brand can evolve. You can change your logo, you can change your name, you can figure out your color scheme, you can figure out if you have a certain type of type font or whatever you want to associate with what it means to be you as a designer. But the one thing that I want to say is that you do have to stay consistent overall throughout the whole process. Like, even though you're changing little things here and there, if you make a decision to keep with it and stick with it, don't change it every single day. for the rest of the 10 years that you're on Zazzle, because you can't then create that trust and that confidence with your customers where they will be loyal to you and come back to you and love you, because it's confusing to them. They don't know if you're selling this, if you're selling that, if you're now this company, if you're that company, if you have this logo, if you have that logo, if you're doing completely modern designs versus completely rustic and vintage designs. Stay consistent overall, because that's what builds the foundation of your customer base and the client, like the customer loyalty that you have.
Yeah, you just have to, it's not even a matter of almost brand, it's more consistent of offer, right?
Mhm.
And like, because we're going to get this question in the chat, so I'm going to just answer it right here, because they're going to go like, well, but if I create minimalistic designs for weddings, can't I change my brand and do some rustic designs too? And it's like, of course, right? Because it depends on what your brand is. If you call yourself modern minimalist as a logo, then you better offer modern minimalist as your designs. But if you say Jennifer Clarke Designs, then your brand can expand into all those different areas. So yeah, don't restrict yourself, don't worry. But whatever you do offer as a message is definitely something you should stay consistent to, right?
Definitely. And coming to a fear where you might be fearful that you don't know how to attract customers. Well, your brand is your attraction, like it's the magnet that comes in, right? If you are consistent with your brand, if you offer to serve your clients with a certain thing, like Elke just mentioned, minimalistic modern or modern minimalistic, everyone who is interested in modern minimalistic will somehow possibly come across your store. And if you're providing what a modern minimalistic type of person wants in your store, whether that be home decor, whether that be wedding invitations, whether that be X, Y, and Z, then they're going to be attracted because of what you offer, right? And there is a fear of attracting customers. Definitely. We get a lot more into that in our Profit by Design Academy coaching program, with understanding titles and tags, understanding customer buying behavior, understanding promotional things that you can do to help gain more of an audience. But your fear of attracting customers is a result of that. You just need to define your brand and figure out how you can serve your client or customer. I keep saying the word client because we have clients, but your customer on Zazzle the best way possible.
And I think, you said it right at the beginning. It's really important to remember that. It's like flipping some assumption that you might have, like, oh, I'm making choices so I won't attract the right people. There's, as you mentioned, I think in another video, you're unique, but you're not unique, right? There's billions of people on this planet. Luckily, Zazzle is international, and there will be people that resonate exactly with you. And that's one of the reasons that you set out and do branding type work, because you don't have to go like, I have this exact design here. Would you like it? Right? Instead, it's like, welcome to my modern minimalistic world, and anything you want is, I'm up for that, right? And just when, if someone says they get, I just don't I just love this place because, or a store, because they get me, right? So when you get a customer, which is how you do it with your brand, they can relate, and then the buying becomes easy. It's not a hard sell anymore. And
Mhm.
that's one thing we hated. Like, we go like, we're going into an online business where we depend on sales, and we hate sales. They're icky. I don't want to be salesy. I don't want to be pushy, but I want to make money. And so branding is the way you do that,
Mhm.
because you right away get people to resonate with you and buy from you emotionally, rather than it's cheaper than the other, or this design's better than this, or whatever it is. But it, like, instead of logic, it's emotion that you're selling with brand, and that's like the key here. And I hope
Mhm.
that really resonates with everyone, because it is so essential.
Yeah, because the ultimate dream is becoming a brand that sells well on Zazzle, and the brand will move forward. And just to wrap up this video with a really cool story is that we've had so many clients who have, first of all, not had defined their own brand when they came into our coaching program, went through our program, understood what they needed to learn, all of these things, created a brand, whether that be their own artistic brand with their own face, the showcasing their artistic designs, or a generalized brand where their artistic designs come through, but it's like a house brand. And they've been contacted by external parties to create designs, create a collection, create certain things for high-end, fashion designers, houses, fashion, companies, home decor companies. And so Zazzle's just the beginning of things if you really think of the whole grand scheme of things, because you might end up finding out that someone who was a customer who found Zazzle was actually, a wedding planning venue or wedding venue, and they decided to buy their business cards from you and realized, oh, on top of creating business cards, you do wedding invitations, and then we'd like to have you create one of our signature wedding invitation suites. So many things are not impossible. I personally sell a badge that's like a concert badge, and I was reached out to by some gentleman in Germany, and he says, I buy your concert badges every single year for our small town concert in our little town in Germany. And I just wanted to let you know, normally I do it on my own, but this time I'd like a little bit more of a personalization. And so can you do this for me? And now somehow I'm connected to a concert that's happening in Germany in a small town somewhere because I had my product on the platform. And if now I have that contact, and if he needs anything else, I can definitely reach out to him and say, hey, I have all these other products too. And so there's so many little things that you don't know what can happen by just being and putting yourself out there. And you might be recognized by somebody, and that leads to a completely new career path, or just defining your own brand on Zazzle and having a huge market share and making lots and lots and lots of money each month.
Grumpy cat.
Yeah.
Bring it back to Grumpy Cat. Okay, take us home there, Jen. And
So if you need help, now that we've talked all about brand, if you need help figuring out what to do with your niche and determining certain trends and designs within that niche based on your brand, or maybe the niche will help you define your brand, we have a really great downloadable. You can get it in the description of this video below. And on top of that, if you're just starting out with Zazzle, we have a 3-part mini series that you can get access to, which we will help you start your store, post your first product for sale, and help you with promotion. I would access both of those things because both of them are extremely helpful. And we can't wait to see you in our community. And thank you so much for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.